Hey guys, I got a surprise for you. Welcome the 2014 WRX Limited Hatchback into the Max Speed Media family of vehicles. So I'm really excited to share some new WRX video with you. So what I wanted to talk to you about was the overall driving impressions, for my first impressions of the new WRX, and really I'm kind of comparing it to the car that I've been driving, which I still have. It's a 2003 G35 with nitrous on it that you may have seen in some of the other videos, which is still a favorite car of mine, although drastically different than this WRX that I just got. One of the main differences is that, going through the gears for you guys, one of the main differences is the G35 is normally aspirated and it's boosted but through nitrous, and the WRX is obviously turbocharged. And from that respect, I'm really digging the fact that I don't need to be filling my nitrous bottle for boost, because I'm really addicted to boost. And when you're addicted to boost and you got to fill a bottle, that can be pretty expensive. So I'm really happy to get this turbo car. So one of the things I wanted to talk about were cosmetic at first that I noticed right off the bat. Oh, there's some police there. Hello, officer. I want to talk about some cosmetic issues with the car, the interior materials of the WRX compared to my previous car and other cars that I've driven. The WRX is, you know, kind of on the cheap side as far as interior materials. I noticed some of the switches and knobs on the car, like just the headlight switch and the AC controls seem kind of flimsy, and you know, just not the same quality that you're going to get in the Infiniti, obviously. Then again, when you think about what I paid for this car versus what I paid for the Infiniti new in 2003, I guess you really can't be too picky. I paid just about $29,000 for this car new in 2014, and I paid $29,700 for the G35 new in 2003. Another thing that I took note of right away is I don't have any power seats whatsoever in the WRX. I kind of got used to my power seat in the G35, and it was really nice as far as adjustability. So I'm trying to get used to the full manual seat in the WRX. The difference in the padding and comfort of the WRX seat versus other cars, especially the G35, is there's a significantly less padding in the WRX seat. So for long trips, I don't know how that's going to pan out, but we're definitely going to find out. One thing I also noticed about the WRX seats, they have really good lateral support. So when you're taking turns, it really holds you in. So it's really kind of nice, and I'm starting to get used to it. I've only been driving the new car for probably the last 4 days, but I'm really starting to get used to the difference in the type of ergonomics, the type of interior of the car, and the way the seats feel and hold you. The other thing I wanted to talk to you about was the difference in transmission type. The G35 is an automatic. It does have a Transgo kit on it, shifts really fast. If you don't want to shift it manually, you don't have to. You could leave it in drive. And that's another thing I'm trying to get used to. The WRX is a 5-speed manual, and you know, there's obviously significant advantages to both cars. obviously having the automatic in the G35, it frees you up to do other things. Not that you really should be doing too much when you're driving driving around, but it's just really easy to drive. And when you're in traffic, that could be a big plus because you don't have to be constantly, shifting and pushing in the clutch. So that's one of the things I noticed right off the bat, trying to get used to the shifting back and forth in the clutch. But I'll tell you what, it's only been about 3 or 4 days and I'm already used to it. I used to drive back in the day. I had I think I had a 91 CRX with a 5-speed, and I really love that car. And you just get used to driving the manual, and after a while you don't even think about oh, I got to push in the clutch, oh, I got to change the gears. It's automatic. It's the same thing as breathing or eating. You know what to do and you just do it. So from that respect, the automatic was nice, but the manual is really a nice driving experience. It keeps you really involved with the car. It's more exciting. There's a more direct connection to the car as opposed to the automatic, which is a little bit slushy. So I'm really digging the 5-speed manual. Another thing I wanted to talk to you about was the fuel economy. The fuel economy with the WRX is instantly better than the fuel economy, or lack thereof, that I get with the G35. With the G35, there's really no such thing as fuel economy unless you're driving on the highway. With the WRX, it's a 4-cylinder, it's turbocharged, and if you can keep your foot out of it, which is pretty difficult to do because this thing is just super fun, you can get actually some decent gas mileage. I've been beating on the car a little bit since I've got it. Nothing nuts. I'm not shifting at redline or anything, but just with spirited driving around town, I've already gone 114, 115 miles, and I've just about hit a half a tank. That's actually way better than the G35. So one of the advantages to having a 4-cylinder turbo versus a normally aspirated hopped up 6, you're definitely going to get some better gas mileage. I will be honest with you though, once you hit boost, and Brandon's riding along with me today and he just brought this to my attention, it's an excellent point, that once you hit boost, it's just like driving a V8. I'll tell you what, it just sucks the fuel just like a V8, just as bad as the G35. So as long as you stay out of boost, which is almost impossible, you can get some really nice gas mileage. Another thing I wanted to talk to you about was the handling of this car. This car is very surprising. At first, the car is not very low to the ground stock. And when I first test drove one of these, actually, I don't even think I got to test drive. Did I get to drive a 2014, Brandon? No. I drove a 2013, and honestly, the handling felt to me at first a little bit soft around corners. So now that I got the new car, I've been taking some corners, and although in just straight line driving, the wheel feels tight, not as tight as the G35, and around corners, I thought that there was going to be much more body roll than there is. The car is actually very good around corners. It stays pretty flat, but it seems to have a more forgiving cornering ability. So it really stays pretty flat, and it takes the corners really well, but it does it in a much softer manner than the G35 does with the S-Tech springs, lowering springs on it. So I'm really pleased with that. I thought right off the bat I was going to have to drop some different springs into the car, but really, the stock handling on this WRX is very good. Another thing I wanted to share with you, my first impressions of the WRX, is the storage capability of the car. This car has some really great storage capability. Now, the G35, I know it's a different car, it's a sedan, and this is a hatchback, or considered a wagon. But I really wanted to go with the hatchback version of the WRX because of the sheer utilitarianism of the car. It's great, you know. It's got the hatchback, you can put the back seats down, you can carry stuff in it. I love it. And it still has 4 doors, so you could get people in and out of it no problem at all. So I'm really pleased with the hatchback and the extra storage capability of the car. It's just great. If you want to take a trip, no problem. Load your stuff in back. You're good to go. So the last thing I wanted to talk to you guys about were performance mods and options for different types of mods that are out there. You know, there's a couple of standbys that people usually add to these cars. Obviously, there's the Cobb access port that a lot of people use, and I'm definitely planning to go with the Cobb access port. I mean, for 650 bucks, you can't beat it for cheap performance mod. Some questions that I have for those of you that already drive WRXs: which exhaust did you go with? A lot of people are running the NVIDIA Q300, and I really like the way it sounds, but I'm unsure of what type of performance gains that you're getting from an aftermarket exhaust. The stock exhaust on this car sounds pretty good. As you can tell, it's really quiet in the car, and you could barely hear it inside the car. Outside the car, though, it's got a nice little rumble to it, and you can hear that boxer motor. It's not quite as loud as I like on an exhaust system. So if any of you have any suggestions as to which exhaust you like best for the WRX, I'd love to hear from you guys. Another mod that I've been considering for the car is the downpipe, and there's a number of different downpipes on the market. Once again, any of you guys driving a WRX who've had some good experience with your favorite brand of downpipe, I'd love to hear from you. Which one performs best? Which one's the most cost-effective per horsepower? Also, anybody have any advice on the air intake? Which one you like the best, whether it's the Cobb or any other brand? Let me know. Another thing I wanted to touch base upon real quick is the shifter and shift knob. I am running the STI short throw shifter in this car, which I must say is really nice. It's performing really well. The shifts are not too long. It's really the throws are really pretty short, and it really helps get a nice crisp shift. So I'm really liking it. The other question I had, or just wanted to hear from you guys, which shift knob have you gone with? The stock shift knob is nice, but I think perhaps the Cobb knob would be a better option. A lot of people have said that it fits really nice, and it's really easy to shift with it, and it's a lot lower than the stock shift knob. So in summing up, if I had to describe the WRX in just a few words, I'd have to say it's raw, it's basic, and I love it. It's not a luxury car by any means, but then again, I didn't buy it to be a luxury car. I bought it because I wanted to have just a sheer turbo, basic, raw driving experience, and I really love this car so far. So thanks for watching as always, guys. I'm really excited to share some new videos with you, and watch for more WRX videos coming soon. And don't forget to subscribe. We'll talk to you later.